How important is family support in creative careers? Everyone's gone silent now. No one's getting support.
Yeah, we're good now, we're good.
My comfortable position.
I'm gonna get disowned. I actually have a really good story because I started in corporate, so I did economics, and then I qualified as an accountant. I was working in banking, like literally doing all the things that brown kids are meant to do. And
Try not to laugh.
pretty much. And obviously that is like, my parents really wanted me to go down that route because both of them are in finance. But last year I quit all of that to become a creative full time. And although it wasn't easy, they 100% support me now, and it makes such a difference. I think with a lot of ethnic minorities, like it roots back to financial stability, and I just think they don't quite understand or know how financially stable you can be in a creative job. So once I sat them down, showed them the income statement.
Right, you had to show a whole Excel sheet. You had to show a presentation like, oh, this here.
They didn't have much to say after that.
When I tried to explain to my grandparents that this is what I was going to do, it was like, you're either on BBC, ITV or Channel 4, or it's like, what are you doing? It's like they don't understand necessarily that you can, be online. What is online? They're like, why, like on the internet, what are you doing on the internet presenting? And they just like can't get their heads around it in the same way. So that's like the battle, like, I'm not on Channel 4, I'm not on ITV, but I'm doing all right. Like they haven't got to stress about anything.
There's definitely a difference between parents that I guess were raised in this country and parents that come from back home.
Both my parents were born in Bangladesh. My mum moved over here, then she turned road. Not road. She's on corporate, yeah. So she
Wait, road or road?
Yeah, that's what
Better go to school, you know.
She came here and learned fluent English, so you wouldn't even think she was born back home.
Yeah.
My dad, he was born back home, been here longer, but he still can't speak fluent English, bless him. But the ironic thing is I get more support from my dad than I do from my mum, which is weird because she grew up here, you'd think she understands and stuff. It's a weird one.
So your one kind of just counteracts everything then, basically.
Yeah, it's weird. My dad doesn't even understand what I do fully. He just knows that I work in media, right?
Yeah.
And one time I did an interview with Priyanka Chopra Jonas, yeah.
Oh, wow.
And I sent it to my dad. Then my dad went around telling his boys that I'm in Bollywood. He doesn't get it, innit? Like, what, the support? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? He's like, my son's in Bollywood. One thing he always said to me was, don't chase money. Chase your dream and money will chase you.
Yeah, I like that.
But I think as well, because my dad basically had the dream when he was younger to like, do music.
Oh, well, there you go.
So
That's
he
where
had
it
a
comes
dream.
from.
Key point.
So now he lives within you in that
He
scene.
missed a crucial part of the story.
Oh,
Yeah,
by the way, my
that's-
dad's also a creative.
So he had a dream that he never chased. And I think that's where it comes from. When I get upset that the rest of my family don't support, he understands why I'm upset.
Yeah.
Whereas the rest of my family, like, it's not that deep.
Actually deep, yeah. Certain parents grafting, having to work, put food on the plate, yeah. And then they see their...
Yeah, that's the way this is going.
What are you laughing at?
I know you're allowed to say.
Where they're like hustling, sweating, they've just been doing it, raised us. And then like they just see Islah popping off to like a little radio station or like making a film. It's like, what is he on?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, you can get there just like, wait, is this guy alright?
No, it's true. But it's like they came on ships and boats to this country, yeah, worked through racism, worked through that mines and factories and like proper labour where they come home and they're just messy. Then we're going, oh yeah, we're gonna do some work experience. Not getting paid, but it might lead to a job.
Yeah. They don't understand that. They don't get
Yeah,
that.
man. My parents always kind of instilled that belief in me, like back in the day when I was young, because I was always like the creative kid. I was always like, because I couldn't perform in an academic environment, 30 kids in a class, it was so hard because I had so much energy and I was a great communicator and I was like a creative from young, whether it was putting on performances, making presentations and stuff. They ran with it. They were just like, cool, just do your thing. Go to like football, enjoy football over school. You know, they were less pushing the academic side because they saw the potential in me. And I think that belief then gave me belief, you know?
See, that's the key.
Yeah.
So if your parents believe in you, you believe in
Yes.
yourself.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I think that's where my doubts came. Because my parents didn't believe in me, my brothers didn't. So the lack of support I had in my household made me scared every time I left the house. Made me scared every time I wanted to risk going for this job or like this freelance thing or like, oh, maybe I'm not gonna make it.
You were scared to leave the house because your mum was on road.
Basically,
Like cleaning her strap.
My mum obviously knew that, obviously a lot of stuff I do on Instagram, whatever. So then she kept making comments at me saying, oh, I saw you do this at an event. Anything I do should just have like a comment about it, a negative comment. I'm like, how did you even know that I did that? And then I found out she's got an Instagram account. So she's made a ghost account, to follow me.
She's trolling you.
To troll me, but not support me, do you get me? And then I was like, what is this? So I started searching my likes and seeing who's watching. Like, you can see your stories.
Yeah.
She made her ghost account was called Sun Checker.
No. That is funny.
No way.
Imagine she was
trying to
hating.
hide it.
She didn't even try to hide it. And I was like, what?
The support thing definitely makes a difference. Like my mum said to me, oh, I knew when you were young you weren't going to be a rocket scientist. I was like, gee, thanks. Like she just knew it was something creative. They both knew and they just didn't know what. I didn't know what. That's why I was like, I'm going to be a dancer, singer, actor, this or that. And then they nurtured it though. My mum used to take me to like Tri-School Theatre. She used to drive me there. I used to go to another youth club, like it's a drama youth club in South Kilburn, flipping ghetto. So she used to drive and just park there, like watching people do drug exchange. And she just sitting there. Yeah, but that's the support. She was like, if you want to do this, I don't want you as a teenager walking through blocks and stuff to go to your. I would rather just drive you and I'll just sit in the car and wait for you to finish. She took me to the adulthood. I was an extra in adulthood.
Oh wow.
No way.
Mad. What
How are we
was
finding this out now?
what was your extra?
I was just on the bus. You won't notice I wasn't wearing hijab. So you probably won't notice.
Right now.
Real IMDb credit on
My mom's
adulthood.
car's probably in the background somewhere.
Is it?
Nah.
It's just her and her car just everywhere, just dropping me off wherever I need to be. So I really appreciate my mum for that support. And my dad, he was supporting it because he was just doing mathematic calculations like, well, if she does well, maybe the money, she can pay the mortgage.
It's
So
important, man.
that was his incentive. But my mum was like, I just want you to just do what you want to do in life and be good at it. So
I think when you're at that age though, it makes such a difference to have your parents support you when you're a kid. Like if you're not financially stable and they're driving you around, you can't even drive, you know, you're not even old enough to take the bus, whatever it is. Like that, the fact that they've gone out of their way to support you makes such a difference when a lot of people maybe don't have that. But at least when we're older, like we can work and then, you know, use that income to like fund the side hustles and stuff. It's a little bit easier, but it's so good that...
Good, yeah. I was also only child for 9 years, and I feel like that nurtured my creativity as well because there's no siblings to play with. You're constantly in Disneyland.
It's lit though, innit? It helps when you have a family that encourage you to go to the university of life in the sense of put you in environments like your classes, like your after school clubs, to like allow you to just discover new creative avenues when you're a kid. But then also when you're older and you get to a place where you're doing this, just those comments of you make me proud or like this is you're doing really well. Now you're no longer doing it for you. Now you're working even harder because you now have people that believe in you and that are responsible.
And I think that's the thing is I tried to balance it in my mind because I thought maybe it's just me in it. Maybe I'm asking for too much. The way they live their life is normal 9 to 5 office job. They hate their job and they come home. That's like normal, right? You're stuck in traffic, come home, that's it. You don't want to think about work. Whereas with us, our job is 24/7. Like we think about it, we breathe it, like we're excited about it all the time. We get an idea on the toilet, like we're just constantly creative in it. So when someone asks, how you been? You can't help but involve talking about your career.
Yeah.
Because that is what you do.
It's part of who you are.
Yeah, it's like, how you been? I just finished the film. I just went on radio. I just did this, did that.
It's your life. Like
It's
there's
your
no
life, it
it
becomes your
overlaps
life.
everything.
So then your excitement levels are so high, and then when they just like, whatever, it can dampen your mood.
You've got to live your life for yourself.
Yeah.
But you can just keep doing you, and I think when you maybe even like just give back and like show, yo, hold that or have that. Or maybe if you give back, then they start to get it a bit more.
I've been giving them all my gifted beauty products, but
I've used my perks. I bought my brother a PS5, and I still ain't got like the support that I want. And that's the thing. Going back to what I said, I think it's my level of expectation.
I was just about to say that.
I feel like I'm letting myself down because I expect them to say, yo, well done, man. Because when I hear it from like you guys or like my friends or like certain people that care, it feels good. But when I hear it from my brothers or my mom or my dad, that yo, I'm proud of you, that goes somewhere else. Goes somewhere else. But like, I remember one time, I was chilling with my brother, sitting on the sofa watching TV, and he's like, what do you even do on the radio? You just talk. Bro, I was like, wow. Like, for 2 years, I've been on the radio at BBC, you haven't even tuned in, and then you're just sitting there telling me I just talk. Do you know what I mean? Not even like, bro, you're on BBC, I'm proud of you. You know
yeah, it doesn't even matter if they don't listen to
doesn't
you.
even matter if they
Like,
listen, but
just
the fact
be
that-
nice and
You know what I
supportive.
mean? And then when he said that, I was just like, I didn't know what to say, bro. I was so heartbroken.
Maybe I'm just quite tunnel vision, or I don't know what the description of this characteristic is, but I don't really care about like what other people are doing too much, unless it's in my face and I need, like, I feel a responsibility. Like my little brothers, we've got such big age gaps that I am quite like, what are you doing? No, I want to know. But like for everyone else that's a grown adult, I'm not really watching it unless you tell me what's going on. Then I'm interested
But
to
do you
hear.
feel like you are built to be that way because of those things?
I don't know what it is, but I feel like maybe it's in the space that we're in, there's more interest into like an insight of our lives, which is why everyone has like something to say or is watching. Because you probably don't look at your brother being like, bro, how do you feel going every day, waking up at 8 a.m. and going on a trip? Like you wouldn't, you know what I mean?
Feel doing that.
You wouldn't think to say that.
Yeah.
So how come they think to say about our life?
Wow,
Like,
yeah. So, but do you almost feel like we like feel like kind of like a superiority complex because of our different angle?
Not
We
really,
need
because
something
I
to
don't think
feed
that.
us.
I'm always like, do you know, sometimes being creative is freaking like real mental health issues.
Yeah, it's
I'm
hard.
telling you, man.
It's not
You're
fun
not
and
focused.
games.
Yeah, like
Because of those things, like mental health issues that happen in our industry, is why we need family support.
yeah.
I mean, if I was like depressed in my room, but then my brother or my mum or my dad walked into my room and said, "What's wrong?" and I explained, even if they didn't understand my problem, like, "Listen, son, you can do it. I believe in you." Just that is enough.
Do your parents say that to your other brothers if they have more like of a corporate
Yeah,
tradition?
they get more attention if they have
Do
a
they?
problem at work.
But do they get told, "Oh, we're
mean-
proud of you," kind of thing, if they like achieve and excel in their careers?
Probably not told, probably shown. They get more rice on the plate.
Yeah.
So I get that one chicken wing. You know what I'm saying?
But listen, but a big thing is it's also a communication level from the individual, because we like, I speak for myself, I don't communicate much with my family. So how do they know? They see me doing this and talking to this person, they think, great, he made it, he's doing good. But really they don't know the anxiety and the creative feeling of we're not doing enough, I should be doing more. We need to be able to communicate that with our parents, you know what I mean? But then it's also their responsibility for setting up an environment where we can communicate with them.
Amen.
I'm doing everything, bro. They don't create a safe space for you to feel like you can talk. Being able to open up and say, "This is why it depresses me," or "This is why I get upset because I spent hours making a video," and
That's deep rooted as well. That's not an easy, that's like, that goes, you have to look at how it was growing up. Like that's,
yeah, you gotta look
it's
at
a long part.
You gotta look at your parents, how they grew up.
Exactly.
what-
They
Yeah.
had safe spaces.
That definitely impacts, I think, the way they parent you. And I think the whole thing about this is just like a lack of understanding. There's no like communication, understanding, like all of it just gets so lost in translation. Because if they just don't understand it, then they're just like, I can't do anything with this.
What was your family like?
So,
Right, you know that deep.
Story time.
I mean, like very similarly. Don't get me started. How long have we got? No, I mean, like very similarly to you, I was very like outgoing as a child, drama, like all of that stuff. Never wanted to follow a traditional path. I just always said to myself, I'm not going to be sat at a desk. I just knew that wasn't my life path. I just wasn't going to be that person.
Not about that back pain.
No, on the hunchback, no, I can't do it. But neither of my parents went to university, so my sister and I were pushed. It was like, you have no choice, you have to go. And I have I had an amazing time, but there was a regret for me that I went and didn't like get started on my career sooner. And I got a job at ITV. So it was like I was in the right path, but it was still very corporate. And everyone was like, oh great, you're kind of like, you've done it now. You're in TV, but you're not in TV and you've got security because you're like earning a good wage. So then when I went on a sabbatical at ITV to pursue like presenting, but it was okay because you have security of like your job's going to be there for you if you want to change your mind. And obviously when the sabbatical came to an end, I was like, no, I'm leaving. I don't want to do this anymore. My mum was a bit like, really? Do you know, the whole thing, and you were right, it's all about money. It's all about financial security. It's all about how are you going to earn money? How are you going to support yourself? How are you going to save? How are you going to do all of this if you are, especially when a lot of the stuff that we do isn't paid. So it's like, well, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? It's like, this is what I want. I don't care that I'm not getting paid. I'm having the best time and I'm enjoying myself, and that should be all that matters. But it's difficult, I think, trying to explain that to people who don't necessarily...
Because I think key thing you said is happiness.
Yeah.
Like we're happy doing what we're doing.
Yeah.
And it's like, they don't understand that.
Yeah.
Because it's like, happiness is like a
think we
secondary
have
feature
about
for
money.
them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, but also they came from not necessarily privilege or like financial
Yeah.
security.
Yeah.
So because like my dad came from Tanzania, mum came from Kenya, they gave up so much to come to England to give their future kids like an incredible education. And will go and get good jobs, so our children don't even need to worry about like having food on the plate. So then for me to then drop that overnight and be like, look, I know I've worked 25 years to do this and I've got a really good career doing everything you've ever wanted me to do, but I'm going to drop that to do something that makes me happy. To them, that is terrifying.
Well, do you know what it is? It's like that key line in a film that you have in all like the young adult films. It's, I'm not living my life, I'm living yours. And that's what it is. You're doing it for them because they want you to go to uni, they want you to have security, they want you to have a good job. And you kind of feel guilty being like, I can't do this. Like, I just, this is not what I want to do.
I feel so guilty.
The deep-rooted real like issue goes back, it's all about mindset and mentality, because that generation looked at Europe as or America as the be-all end-all in terms of success. They're trying to like kind of just impersonate what something that looks positive and financially stable and whatever for themselves and for their kids, and it's almost like times have changed and they haven't like kept up with that. So now that we're changing that kind of mindset of, no, it's not about copying and following and being something we're not, we just want to be ourselves and do what's good for us. It's like, oh, like,
but also if it is about money, which like I'm sure they're not even afraid to admit, the tax bracket in England, if you're employed versus self-employed, is crazy. Like you could be earning, you could be taxed up to 45%. If you're self-employed or you're doing it through a limited company, the benefits of that are so much better. You can have flexibility over your hours. You can wake up, work however long you want. You can put your physical and mental health first. Like you can earn so much more in such a short space of time and enjoy the rest of the week. Like if it is about money, you can actually still earn more as a creative now, which I think is great.
Come on, corporate Sandy.
I also do think the way that we live our lives now, if you're like top influencers, top YouTubers, the earning opportunities are endless. Obviously it's hard and it's like we're all in a very similar boat and we're all trying to get to a good level. And we're not doing it for the money. It's not about that. But you know, these influencers are making like 6 figures a month.
Yeah, and for me the most important thing is, it just goes back to values. Like I value time more than even money. So even as an influencer, it's very dangerous waters if you're working 24/7, unless you really love every minute of it. Okay, but if you're still working too much, then it kind of flips to, okay, you're not a slave for this company, but you're being a slave to essentially money then. Either way, you don't want to be enslaved to nothing. So for me, it's about time. That's what I value. I value that I can choose tomorrow if I want to do work or not or whatever and just chill. Just jam.
You've got the freedom to do that because you've earned that.
They came over, they were working so hard to provide for us, and our lives are so, like, I don't work a 9 to 5. I wake up when I wake up, I go to bed when I go to bed. I still get work done, but my hours are changing and I'm not sat at a desk. But it's like if you're not waking up at 7 a.m, you're not going to work, sitting in an office, you're not working hard.
And there's this whole perception that our generation is lazy.
Like, I don't get that.
Surely, as a parent, if you've worked hard, you're working hard so that your kids can live a life that you didn't get. You know, you want to give your kids the privilege you didn't have. So now that they're happy and they're living it easier, why are you jealous of them?
I think they're internally fighting it. I think there's a part of them that's like, of course I'm happy for you. You're my child. Like I want you to be living your best life. I want you to be doing whatever you want to do that makes you happy. But there's also a part of them that's like, I had to work so like hard. I had to do so much for you. And you're just like walking around the street trying to be like, hi, my name's Amber. It's like, I just don't get it.
Have you seen that meme? That meme when it's like, while I was out there grafting, you was doing niche.
I
think parents, from my experience, could not stop living through your kids. I don't like this Project Mbappe thing. If your kid don't want to play football, don't let the kid play football. Bring them to different environments, support them and allow them to explore different realms of life and fuel their creativity. University of life. We're going to learn inevitably, you know? And then just those comments of being able to give some affirmation and love, it goes a long way. And then down to the creative level, you know, communicate and kind of open your heart to receive. Because sometimes, you know, we look for, you know, like you said, you have expectations. Just whatever they give, you know? It's down to you. You're the only one that can fight your fight at the end of the day.
Like if your mom or your dad or your siblings tell you I'm proud of you, that can take you further. Our friends who are Asian and they went the creative route, and the only difference we have is that their parents supported it and mine didn't. Like where I had to be doing it in secret, they were doing it with their mom and dad's support. Do you know what I mean? And they mentally they were happier. Whereas with me, I was just like, I'm on my own. Do you know what I mean? So for me, it's just like parents need to meet their kids halfway, understand where they're coming from, communicate and be able to come home and feel safe to talk about it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
And not be judged if their creative career is going downhill and uphill, because that's the way it's designed to be.
I would like for my children to just authentically do what God has designed them to do. And that's for them to first find within themselves. As a saying, you have to know yourself before you can know God, because you can't be the best version of yourself if you don't know who you are. So there's no point pushing something on your child that you want, and that's just not them. Because God created us all uniquely with archetypes so we can work together on this planet to keep the whole system running properly. So there's no point pushing someone to do something that they're just not designed to do. So whatever it is, if you want to frigging, I don't know, save the elephants, you want to like be a train driver, whatever it is, just do what you're supposed to do.
I feel like this is a really philosophical moment. You've got to like ponder
University
everything
of
of your
life.
life. I feel like everything and every day is a learning experience. We need to understand our parents the same way we want them to understand us. And I don't think I said this before. I'm very grateful. My family do support me. My mum says she's proud of me. But, I don't understand for her. I just expect things from her. And I feel like for kids who want to be creatives and kind of not follow traditional paths have to understand that parents might just take a little bit of time to come around to it. And although it sucks and although it's hard and we get upset and the road can be a bit like choppy, when they see us happy and they see us thriving, there is a part of them that's like, okay, we're cool. Like, I'm happy that they're doing their thing.
I think, no, first and foremost, being a creative is a real job.
Yeah.
In terms of finance.
Clarification.
It is, like, I just feel like people don't realise it's a real job. So, financially, in terms of respect, it's a real job. And I feel like we need to start that's a given, okay? And then I think just, for parents, I just think be open-minded, be supportive, and just put your kids' happiness first. And I say be open-minded because I think what you said, Maria, like, do what you're meant to do. But sometimes what you're meant to do changes, and you don't even know, like, so many kids don't even know what they want to do or what they're good at or what career they want to have. Or they do like a complete 180 like me, but because my parents were open-minded, one day I'm a banker, one day I'm an influencer, and I can do what I want. And you can be both. Like, don't feel like you have to box yourself into just being one. So I think, just be open-minded to doing what makes your kids happy.
Nice.
I should have said that.
What she said.
What she said.
CC.
Yeah.
That's it.
You are well, baby.
That's it. Watch our parents dislike this video.
I know.
Like, you
I'm not sending this to my mum.
Sun checker 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.